There's Joel-Hoekstra's 13 with Finish Line from their new album Running Games. And on the phone, I got none other than Joel Hoekstra himself. How you doing, Joe?
I'm doing great, bro. Thanks for taking the time out today.
Yeah, no problem. Now, with COVID and everything and, everything being shut down, how was this project any different than, like, the first album you did with the project?
I would say very similar. I mean, the first one we did all file sharing as well, so it really wasn't too different in terms of logistically how we went about it. I would say in terms of the writing, I was a little more focused this time, I'd say, because I knew what the project is. I think Dying to Live was kind of written like while I was figuring out what it was going to be. So there was some songs that lived on the fringe a little bit more, some really heavy songs, and some songs that almost went a little bit more like alternative. So this, I was able to just kind of hone the sound a little bit more and I guess focus it.
Ah, cool. Well, you got a really all-star band here. Do you mind running down who's in the band?
Yeah, thank you. Russell Allen on lead vocals from Symphony X, and Vinny Appice, Dio Black Sabbath on drums. Tony Franklin from Blue Murder and The Firm on bass, Derek Sherinian from Sons of Apollo on keyboards, Jeff Scott Soto from everything you can possibly imagine on backing vocals. So, really honored to have all the guys back on this one. Everybody was on Dying to Live, and so I wanted some consistency and continuity under the project name, so great to have everybody back.
That's cool. Russell Allen, just a phenomenal singer. Man, he's got so many voices, and then Jeff Scott Soto. I mean, come on, the poor guy. You got to make him sing background vocals.
Yeah, well, I think Jeff needs another project he's singing lead in, like a hole in the head. I mean, he's got a lot of things going on. So Jeff and I are we're just really good friends, and he is willing to help me out with that. I call him the most overqualified backing vocalist in the world. But, so I'm super psyched to have him on there. And actually, in reality, all kidding aside, he really does have an impact on the overall quality and sound of this record, man, and on Dying to Live. I mean, I'm one of those people that, yes, I could probably plug away and do the background vocals on this stuff, but having Jeff do it is my whole thing is I just want to make a great album, man. I mean, he's going to do a better job than me. So, and he's going to do it quicker. And so I think just to have, I think it's good to know your limitations and go all right, you know what, this is going to make a great album. That's what I want. So I'm just interested in doing the writing on this. That's really the main thing. I get to write not only all the guitar riffs, but all the vocal melodies and lyrics, and be the person who's in charge of the mix. And so it feels really good for me to be able to, I guess, call all the shots with that stuff, and of course play guitar on it, right? But then for me, I just let all these guys do their thing, man. When it comes to producing them, I just I give them the stuff and let them do it and stay out of their way, because I think you get good musicians, man. You just let them do their thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Now, what's the significance of 13 in the band title's name?
So it's just a lucky number, and I needed something short for the project name, because I thought, look, you call it only 13, it sounds like a band, which, all the guys are that wouldn't be fair to them. I'm doing all the writing, and it's really my thing. If I call it Joel-Hoekstra, that sounds like it's a guitar instrumental album or one that I'm singing on. So that's not cool either. So I was like, all right, this needs a project name. So I thought Joel-Hoekstra's 13. If it was Joel-Hoekstra's anything else, it would be like the longest name in the world, right? I mean, it's already a long.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I think something short, and it's just a lucky number.
It's got some really cool cover art too, man. I'm looking forward to seeing this in vinyl. I'm probably gonna have to order this. Who did your cover art?
So her name is Chris Robinson. So I've been friends with her for a while, and I've seen some of the stuff she's done, and I always thought, it looks great. I got to remember that. And for the next album, it was always in the back of my mind. And then when it came time, I hit her up, and she did a great job, man. It was her first idea, just wow, great.
Nice. Now, there's some great guitar tones on this album, too. And now, are you a fan of the new modeling amps and all that stuff and all the computer effects and stuff?
I'm still very much like, if you can do it, I'm a real amp guy.
Mm-hmm.
But with this particular album, I was a plug-in guy because I did it during COVID at home. That's really the one thing that changed logistically, was that I wasn't able to be in like a studio. So I'm in a New York City apartment. So for firing up a half stack, this isn't going to happen. So I printed something off a modeling unit I have, and then also just ran a DI. And then I think in the end, the mix engineer really just used the DI and used neural DSP plugins.
Okay.
So, I mean, I can't really argue with the results. I think it sounds cool. It's a little different than I'm used to, but I think also at the same time it's cool, and there's nothing wrong with trying new things. So, my main gripe with all that stuff is you miss a lot of the dynamics you can still get off of a real amp. I think you go with a lot of gain on these things, and then you need to gate them. And then there typically is not like a smooth roll in and roll off, and there's something about the way they respond to rolling back on your guitar that's different than an amplifier.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, is that a talkbox harmony I hear in Reach the Sky?
Yeah, you're the first one to get it. Thank you.
Nice.
Yeah. So I did. I broke out the talkbox. I mean, I've done some talkbox stuff in the past. I did a lot on my album The Moon Is Falling, my solo album, but it's been a minute since I used one. And I went for the harmony talkbox solo.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was cool. I had to back it up a couple times and go, all right. Yeah, there you go. That's cool. You hear talkbox every once in a while. They're not as often as I'd like, but then again, I never heard him doing a harmony like that. That was cool. That was very cool.
Well, you're the first one to catch it.
See, I got good ears for that kind of stuff. Now, if you were able to do some touring on this, who'd be your ideal band? Is it the guys that recorded this album, or?
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure, that would be amazing. I'd love to take the whole lineup out. That would be killer. I mean, realistically, if we get the world open, I'd love to get out and do some support for it live. And I think it's also a scenario where I wouldn't necessarily need every single one of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a star-studded lineup that you could probably do it with a slightly different lineup than the record. So we'll see. You never know.
So what's going on with Whitesnake these days? I know they got a blues album coming up.
He's doing the compilation trilogy, wrapping that up with the blues album right now. So he had the rock album, Love Songs, and now it's the blues album. So that's what's going on there, and then we'll just kind of wait and see what's next, and we'll just kind of be there to support him in whatever he wants to do.
So you're part of the newer tunes, or they're not re-recording older songs, are they, or how's this?
No, I mean they're basically sometimes enhancing them or just remixing them in some cases.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And so for me, I was a part of any of the stuff that was on the album Restless Heart, and those are definitely scattered across this. So I'd say maybe like 2-3 songs on each, something like that.
Oh, okay. So I mean, it must have been a long year with no touring. I mean, for you, because you got Whitesnake, T.S.O. shows, Cher. I mean, and Rock of Ages, and I mean, what have you been doing besides music to keep yourself busy over all this time?
Man, I've been actually busier during this than I am typically. Just really teaching a lot.
Okay.
30 one-on-ones and per week, and doing master classes for Rock and Roll Fantasy Camp, and I would say doing sessions for people, a lot of those. I would say at least a few a week.
Mm-hmm.
And quarantine jams. I've been writing with people. There's lots of that. I just turned in the riffs to Michael Sweet for our project with Nathan James.
Oh, cool. I just talked to Nathan a couple days ago. And you got a couple tracks on the Inglorious record, too.
Yeah. There's another example of something I did during this. Got in the songs to him.
Nice.
All in all, just, trying to stay very, very busy and make sure that I look back at this time as something where I kept moving forward and did my best during it.
Uh-huh.
I just try to avoid the whole, become one of the people that's just waiting for the world to open.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like go after every day as best I can. Stay productive every day. That's always my goal.
Mm-hmm.
I like to just be productive on a daily basis. I say it all the time to people, but I don't know if it necessarily hits home.
Yeah.
But that's what it comes down to, I think. And then you look back after a year and you go, okay, I did a ton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. So how did you get the gig with Cher? Because it doesn't seem like her music needs a shredding guitar player. But then again, maybe it did. I mean, was she more rocking with you in the band?
Well, I would say 2017, David was taken off to get his knee surgery done. So I knew that was going to be the case and reached out to a bunch of people and was like, hey, if you know anybody who needs somebody to fill in, I don't really need a new gig per se, but I'd love to stay busy. And that was an interesting year. I built a year from scratch without having Whitesnake, and did well. Had a really fun year. And one of the things that came along was Cher. So Justin Derrico worked with Dave Barry, her guitar player, and he needed somebody to fill in. And Justin said, oh, my friend Joel just texted me and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I got the opportunity to fill in. And I don't know that it was any heavier with her. I just played the gig down exactly like Dave did. And then in the moments where I had the step outs and it was your job to kind of shred a little bit or be entertaining, I tried to make that stuff a little bit my own, like in terms of stage presentation and in terms of, in some spots here and there, like a little bit of my own licks. But in general, it's just very much like a pop gig that you play down.
Okay. So, like I talked to you off the air, the first time I saw you was with Night Ranger, and you just blew me away with that 8-finger tapping. Could you give me a rundown of how you learned that again?
Yeah, I mean, when I was a kid, I had a teacher named T.J. Helmrich. I think I was only 13, and T.J. is really well known for that technique. He's great. Has some like rock fusion albums out, and that people can check out. Check them out online. But he really got me going with that stuff when I was young, and then it just turned out to be this amazing thing where, I mean, I was working on it as a kid, and then it seemed like when Nirvana hit, it was like, boy, why did I spend all that time working on tapping? You can't do that now. You'll be like banned for life. So it ended up being this really weird thing where it came full circle and worked out for me. And I remember joining Night Ranger just going, this is crazy, man, that stuff ended up being, like what worked out for me. Yeah,
because I remember seeing that video of Jeff Watson playing that and just being floored. And then just to see you do it live, this guy just, I didn't even never heard of the guy, and he just up there just shredding. It's like, wow. Man, yeah, I've been a huge fan ever since. I mean, I've never seen it look just so easy. I don't know. Must have been a lot of practice.
That was, like I said, that was lucky because I was lucky enough to have somebody start me on that when I was 14, I think, when I got the 8-finger thing together. So for me to never, like in my adult life, it's not like I'm sitting around working on 8-finger tapping 3 hours a day. I'm just not. Like I'm mainly working on my career and working on just being a pro. So it's kind of nice to have that technique in my back pocket. As it turned out, it was like, wow, I can't believe it. Like, that's amazing that this worked out.
Yeah. So what made you want to play guitar, and who were some of the people that you looked up to when you were starting?
Well, definitely AC/DC. Angus Young was the inspiration to make me want to get a guitar. Nice. And then I'd say very much in the early going, very much heavy metal, hard rock. So AC/DC, Black Sabbath, Iron Maiden, Scorpions, Ozzy, Dio.
Nice.
And then you got to include in there, as I got a little bit older, more melodic bands like Foreigner, Journey, Boston. I'd say classic rock bands like Zeppelin, Pink Floyd,
Cool.
Hendrix. I would say the progressive stuff from Rush and Yes, very much into them, and the guitar albums, all that stuff.